Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Well, it's one of the more important, without question, facts to make your brain go, is that SpongeBob SquarePants' original name.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants!
All right, so we end that. That's how we know it, but it was going to be something else. And I said there's a chance it could be perceived as problematic if it had become that. Let's see, SpongeBob has been around, what, over 20 years, right, Scott?
It'll turn 25 next month.
Wow, 25. And so the name it was supposed to be, instead of SpongeBob SquarePants, was... It was supposed to be SpongeBoy Ahoy.
Oh!
How about that, first off? It was supposed to be SpongeBoy Ahoy.
That's
cute.
That's kind of fun.
That is adorable.
Now, the reason I said it could be problematic is I can't imagine, SpongeBoy just has a little bit of a weird...
Undertone?
Yeah, doesn't it?
Why?
It could have, I'm saying, for some people. Those
No,
people.
when you hear, wait a minute.
What do you mean by those people?
I would like to know the inappropriate thing that, I want to know the image in detail that pops in your head that's inappropriate when you hear SpongeBoy. I want to know.
A little bit as the squirting emoji that I use.
I like
But
that.
sponges absorb. It's the opposite of squirt. It cleans up the squirt. Is that bad?
I'm just saying that's what comes into my brain, that it could have been perceived. There could have been some other things that it could
Do
have
you
went that way.
imagine like a sexy car wash with a guy like with a sponge on the mirror? Like
Not-
Sponge Boy.
Not a car wash scene.
No.
Another scene.
Wow. In your search history?
But overall, so SpongeBob SquarePants was supposed to be SpongeBoy Ahoy.
That is very cute. I get where they're coming from.
Now, you know what the problem was with it? It wasn't problematic. You know what the problem was?
What's that?
A mop company already owned that trademark to SpongeBoy. And
What mop company?
I didn't do that
No, now I
research
gotta
on
look
it.
it up.
Yeah. And this is so long ago, maybe that company's not even in business anymore. So they're like, damn, we can't call it SpongeBoy. And somebody in the room just went, well, how about SpongeBob? We'll just call it a day. Let's go to lunch. And then they did. And it was SpongeBob. And they probably thought the cartoon was going to last like 6 months, not 25 years. And that was it. So is the SpongeBoy mop company still in business,
Does
Kenzie?
the SpongeBoy mop exist? No, I can't find it anywhere.
Now, the mop company could have owned the trademark and not used it, which happens often. People
I feel
take...
like that happened.
Yeah. They thought, we're going to launch this
They
mop
just
called
ran into trademarking issues because they can't find
This
it.
SpongeBoy mop is going to be at Home Depot, Lowe's, everywhere.
It's going to change the game.
And then they didn't change the game, and SpongeBoy Ahoy was going to be the name, which made the song way different. But
That's
I
true.
would love to hear the remix, like the original,
sadly, I don't have that ready. I don't even know if they got that far. They might have just been coming up with a name, and I don't know when they added SquarePants to it. So they went SpongeBoy Ahoy,
Probably
SpongeBoy
when they were
Ahoy,
making the song, they're like, well, this still doesn't rhyme.
SpongeBob
Yeah, it's like,
SquarePants,
okay.
SpongeBoy Ahoy.
Do you think they based the show around the theme song?
It's hard to write an entire song, Case, where everything rhymes.
But I bet the theme song came last, not first.
I think that SquarePants may have been added during the draft of like nothing's rhyming the way we imagined originally.
You think he had baggy pants first, and they finally said, and the song says square pants, so now let's make his pants square.
Or they were like, what could we add? Look at him. What could we add to this?
He's a sponge, you see,
Yeah.
and they're kind of square.
Look at those SquarePants. Let's do it.
There you go.
Brian, you don't really have any relationship with SpongeBob, do you?
I do.
I know you do.
What do you mean a relationship with him?
Well, you don't really watch the show, right? You're kind of a fake fan.
I've seen it. I can't say like I've seen every episode like you guys have with The Office. Like I've seen some episodes.
Or with SpongeBob.
Or with SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Have you seen every episode of SpongeBob SquarePants?
For sure until I was like 15.
Yeah.
I haven't seen, sometimes you gotta grow up, man. It's tough. But,
Kenzie, what's your favorite one?
I remember vividly, Case, my brother and I waiting on the late night drop of the special episode.
Uh-huh.
There's a special episode that was going to drop, and we stayed up and waited, okay? Because this is when you couldn't watch it on a streaming app later, like you had to watch in real time. And it was just 3 minutes of him walking weird. And we sat there with our jaw on the floor, kind of like the scene from the Christmas Story where he's trying to do the decoder and then it's like just drink more of the product is the secret message. That's kind of how we felt. But to this day, we send each other, like, my brother and I sent each other, like, the walking thing. It was the biggest waste of time of our entire life. And to this day, we remember it.
Is that GIF available when you text?
Yes, because it's the long. Have you ever seen SpongeBob's really long legs and arms?
I wish you could see how Kenzie was just walking in her chair right now.
It's kind of like Vince McMahon.
It's a Conor McGregor walk.
That's what he walks weird for about 3 minutes. And then it just turned off. And we're like, wow.
That's amazing. As of July 25th this year, there were 303 episodes of SpongeBob. It's currently in its 14th season, so I don't know how many episodes we're into the 14th season right now. So I don't know if so that's a lot of episodes. You think you've seen all of them? Case, you seen all of them?
I've probably seen 200 of them.
Oh,
What's your
jeez.
most popular SpongeBob quote? Because I have a couple.
Oh.
Hit me with I first off, I love saying, it's not a rock, it's a boulder. I love that.
The one that I like is when it's from my favorite episode where they perform at the halftime show at the Bubble Bowl and they do the whole big musical performance. And SpongeBob at one point is like shaking his little butt and doing a whole big thing. And people are looking at SpongeBob and Squidward goes, that's his eager face. I just like using the term eager face.
By the way, Tony checked in. My girlfriend and I are playing SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. It's a game right now.
That's a legendary video game.
They're playing it right now while we're talking about this.
It's amazing.
It's a $10 game. Thanks, Tony, for listening to the show and playing a little game.
Hey, Case.
Yeah.
What's funnier than 24?
What is?
25.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 as we gave you the fact that makes your brain go. That SpongeBob SquarePants was supposed to be called SpongeBoy Ahoy. How about that? That was the original name of SpongeBob SquarePants, but a mop company owned the rights to it of SpongeBoy Ahoy. So they just went, let's go with this SpongeBob SquarePants, and it'll be perfect. Now, a lot of you have really chimed in. We had like 10 phone lines lit about SpongeBob quotes. Not how I expected this to go.
An honorary mention, I must say, to the Flying Dutchman's boat getting scratched. And the whole time he's going, you're good.
You're good.
You're good. It's unbelievable. Thank you so much for reminding me an iconic moment in history.
It's one of the funniest TV shows ever written.
I know, people keep saying it's bad for kids. And I'm like, I'm fine. I don't know.
We turned out great.
Well,
I didn't say I was great. I said I'm fine. There's a huge difference.
Dakota checked in, a crew member said, Brian, this is the favorite fact you've ever shared in 6 years of doing facts. It's fun. That got us to this point. So, Kenzie brought up this one, of course. People are just texting in the favorite lines and quotes from SpongeBob.
Today's first lesson will be on turning.
24.
Hey, Patrick.
What?
I thought of something funnier than 24.
Let me hear it.
25.
That's enough!
Oh my God.
Brian, do you know who that teacher is? Do you know anything about Mrs. Puff?
See, I don't. SpongeBob was out of my wheelhouse. I'm sorry to say.
Puff.
Shouts out.
Yeah.
Amen.
So why? Tell me something about her, Case.
Well, she's the boating school teacher because they all drive
They
boats in
drive
Bikini
boats,
Bottom.
not cars. You
Got
see.
it.
Do you see the joke?
I got it now.
Okay, it's very funny when you think about it.
Now,
Remember when he fails his test? And how many did I need?
the other one that came through for most of the listeners is mayonnaise an instrument?
Yeah, this is a classic.
Okay, so this is from SpongeBob.
People, settle down. Okay, now, how many of you have played musical instruments before?
Do instruments of torture count?
No.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
No, Patrick, mayonnaise is not an instrument. Horseradish is not an instrument either.
Oh, man. Is it too late for me to binge SpongeBob?
You're right on time. I can't imagine a better time.
I mean, to go back and start from the beginning.
Like a real fan.
Because I've seen episodes. I'm not a fraud. I've not like... it was out of my wheelhouse as far as, you guys are closer to the same age and grew up with SpongeBob.
Yes.
I'm a Gen Xer, and even though a lot of our Gen Xers smoked weed and watched SpongeBob because all my friends did, that's what they did. Mm-hmm. And I didn't smoke that weed.
The SpongeBob weed?
I probably should have. No, just the regular weed and watch
The
SpongeBob.
seaweed?
Like I was all in Adult Swim. Like let's say Space Ghost Coast to Coast was my wheelhouse. That was you don't know what you're missing with Space Ghost.
Were you a Robot Chicken fan?
Hell yes.
Of course you were.
Yeah, I had Seth Green on the show and we talked about Robot Chicken.
How could you? It's like 12 minutes. It was weird.
Yeah, I never liked the runtime of
Me
Robot
either.
Chicken.
It really messed me up. I didn't. It was like I'm
that
mad.
it was my wheelhouse of time. Give me
it was
12
just
minutes.
Skits. I couldn't piece it together. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Oh,
I was on summer break.
I love Robot
Shouldn't have
Chicken.
been watching it. Very confused.
Okay, keep checking in here with your favorite moments from SpongeBob. Didn't plan on us going that way this morning. It
Or
is
went out for SpongeBoy Ahoy. You know what I'm saying?
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Head to headlines. We gave you 2 headlines before the Cranberries, and now we have an answer. You chose the content in this break. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. So to recap those headlines, headline number 1 was, quote, I stole a gorilla, so what? Man behind retirement home ape heist appears in court. And headline number 2 also had a quote in it. Headline number 2 was, officials thought this bald eagle was injured. It was actually just, quote, too fat to fly, end
So we're
quote.
just going to fat shame now? What's going on?
I guess in the headlines, that's what happened. So. Now, this one, they've been close lately, but this one was unanimous about the gorilla.
Yes.
People
a
want
lot
to
of
hear
gorilla
more
votes.
about what was going on with the gorilla. So really, I guess they just figured that second headline tells the story. The bird's too fat to fly.
Yeah, end of story.
I
No
mean,
questions.
Why do I need to know more about that one? We got a fat bald eagle. Like it represents America, just like everybody else. It's American bird, American fat
It's
people.
an American bird.
So we are going to dive into it right now. I stole a gorilla, so what? Man behind retirement home ape heist appears in court, and here is the story. A search for Matthew Newbound occurred, and this is the thief who stole a 20-kilogram gorilla statue. So it was a statue. It wasn't a live gorilla. It was a statue from a Melbourne, Australia retirement village. Admits he made a, quote, silly mistake. So I looked it up. Actually, 20 kilograms is 44 pounds.
That's a lot.
How is that a mistake?
He
How
said,
do you accidentally do it?
he said it was a silly mistake. The thief admitted he made a very silly mistake in pinching a beloved gorilla statue from a retirement village. Just on that statement alone, I wonder why a retirement village has a gorilla statue out front.
I wondered the same thing when you said that. Is it named after a famous gorilla?
Or a famous retired person.
Is it the King Kong home of relaxation?
To you, Brian, what is a famous retired person?
I would say Eugene.
Levy?
Eugene. No.
He's still working.
He's still working.
That guy, you can't get him off the screen.
A famous retired person. You know who a famous retired person is? Gene Hackman, the actor Gene Hackman.
Okay.
He did a billion great movies, including Hoosiers, and he's retired at 93 from acting.
Good for him.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
There we go. The thief admitted it was a very silly mistake. Matthew Newbound was his name. He pleaded guilty to stealing the 20-kilogram garden ornament named Gary. That's who it was called.
Gary the gorilla? That's cute.
Yeah, from a retirement village in
Be cute. Love it.
Melbourne. The 33-year-old went on to buy a chest of drawers in that area, which is, I don't know Australia well, but it was Leith Park Village.
Okay.
He went to go buy a chest of drawers. Is that a
chest of drawers? Isn't that just like a
chest?
Yeah.
what do you call the where you
Like
put,
an armoire?
what do you call a dresser is what the word I'm looking for. Isn't it just a dresser for your underwear
A
and shirts?
dresser, an armoire, a nightstand, I guess depending on how many drawers are in your nightstand.
In Australia,
they got a word for that?
in Australia they call it a chest of drawers.
That sounds, it sounds beautiful. What do you say it like that?
Yeah.
A chest of drawers.
So he was going to buy a chest of drawers when he spotted the gorilla statue perched on a tree stump and said, I'm going to take that. I guess he didn't know he needed the chest of drawers anymore.
Well, I get it. You ever go antique shopping? It's not what you go in there for. It's what you find along the way. He thought he wanted the chest of drawers, and then the gorilla statue spoke to him very quickly.
Right.
Well, he needed something to put in the drawers.
Exactly.
So he grabbed the gorilla statue and put it in the back of his truck. And a member of the public saw the gorilla perched in the back of the vehicle and snapped a photo before contacting police. So everybody must have known this gorilla is the retirement home Gary the gorilla. and it was in the back of his truck driving away.
Wow. Is there a Chicago equivalent of a Gary? What thing could we steal that everybody would know about?
The bean.
Wow. Good luck.
What they doing? They stole an ape, a huge ape statue. Is that notice it or notice it?
I don't know if the
If you
bean,
saw the bean,
I don't know if that'll
pulled.
fit in the back of an F-150.
Maybe you can put it on like a trailer bed.
Look
I'm
up.
like, damn it.
Will you please look up the weight of the bean? Because the gorilla weighed 44 pounds.
Brian, do you remember a month ago when we saw Wee Man on the street corner and we thought there's no way that's Wee Man? Can you imagine being in your car at a stoplight and driving by and seeing the bean and going, well, there's no way that's the bean.
It's 110 tons.
Okay.
Which is the same weight as 15 elephants.
Okay.
So if you got a big flatbed, you can put 15 elephants on a big flatbed.
I know you feel strong because you drive a Jeep. And you probably think you could tug the bean with your
I
Jeep.
didn't say I could do it.
Okay.
But you see those like semi trucks, and the back of them is just a bunch of cars.
I can't remember when the bean was built. Did they bring it in pieces?
Or did they build it there?
That's what I mean. Like they brought it in pieces and built it there.
How would you build that? I think they grew it. It's a bean. They planted it and watched it grow.
I got to go look back because it's 20 years now of the bean. I don't remember when it was put in there. Like it was just there all of a sudden. The bean was there. Anyway, back to the gorilla that was stolen. So people spotted him with the gorilla in the back of his truck, Gary the gorilla, and he was arrested on July 5th, and a search of his phone revealed text messages to his friends, which goes to the title of the story. One of the texts to his friends was, quote, LOL, I stole a gorilla. So what? That was to one of his friends.
What an incriminating text. You can't even be like, please, I didn't even mean that.
Yeah, context. It was taken out of context.
That's not even what I was talking about. I was talking about that gorilla.
He was disqualified from driving at the time of the theft after losing his license in July of last year, so he shouldn't have been even driving.
That's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to know that you're not legally allowed to drive and to put a massive gorilla that you stole that everyone can see in your truck bed.
He was getting away with driving illegally for a year until he put the gorilla in the back of his truck.
I mean, like, why would you do that? Why would you put something? We put a siren on top of your car too.
Sometimes they say, criminals, they want to get caught, like serial killers eventually. I think he wanted to get caught, so he stole the gorilla.
I don't think he wanted to get caught. I think he just thought it was funny. Where was he going to put the gorilla?
Doesn't say. Well, we'll see at the story. We're almost at the end of the story here, but he did say that he told the court that he made a stupid and opportunistic decision to steal Gary and never had intention to sell Gary, the statue. He just wanted it for some reason.
He just wanted it.
So it was very silly.
Very silly. And they're like, now what about you driving illegally for a year? Is he going to be like, also silly? I'm just a goofy guy.
Well, we'll find out what happened to him here in a sec. So he says they ordered him to take community corrections order assessment, which must be like community service here. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he wears the vest and cleans up the Kennedy or the garbage and stuff. I don't know.
Probably had to put back the gorilla statue as part of a community service.
And then clean up the mess he made.
Yeah.
He probably has to clean the diapers of the elderly people in the retirement home.
I think that should be leaved to like trained professionals for care, not like used as a punishment for an irresponsible person.
The judge said, keep working and stay out of trouble, the judge said. Australia's really different than here, isn't it?
What do you think would happen here?
I think you got tased.
Yeah.
A couple times in your cell.
Yeah.
And they're like, what else did you do? You murdered somebody, didn't you?
He falls victim to the American prison system. It's really a sad story.
We got to solve this murder, man.
He doesn't seem like that great of a guy. Let's settle down. He's not a victim.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen to him. His bail was extended to his next court date, so we don't know if he's going to go to jail. It sounds like it's going to be community service at this point.
Just community service for theft and illegally driving for a year?
Kenzie, it's an island full of criminals. What do you expect?
That's Australia.
Oh.
So there you go. There's the story. I stole a gorilla. So what? We texted his friend.
No wonder he said so what. He's gonna have to like cut some grass. Like, not a big deal.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And there's been some audio that's gone viral lately that's pretty awesome. We got to play for you. And if you haven't heard it, it turns bands like Metallica into yacht rock. There's this guy named Nick Harrison who's incredible. And by the way, if you don't know what yacht rock is, it's kind of like, 70s, 80s soft rock. Like
I love it.
You love yacht rock?
I was just about to say it's the bane of my existence.
I love yacht rock. I mean, some people say that Toto Africa is like yacht rock.
That's totally yacht
Oh
rock.
yeah, some sweet
Vibes.
spot.
Yeah.
Vibes. That's where I live, baby. Let me get. I should have a yacht.
Well, you don't have
Damn
to
it.
have a yacht. You
I
could
should have one.
It helps though.
you can
Yeah.
be in the backyard on a day like today, a sunny day, and you're laying out before fall and winter kick in, and you have, listen to something like that. Like Steely Dan comes up when you put yacht rock in, and I can't stop thinking of the scene in Knocked Off when Paul Rudd is defending Steely Dan and Seth Rogen. Well, here's the lie. Here it is.
I'm just saying, the music industry is different now. You can't. Steely Dan would never even have a chance.
Well, maybe it's because Steely Dan gargles my balls.
Oh my!
I think he's onto something. I agree.
Oh man, so funny.
Well, that could be a good thing, right?
Not the way Steely Dan does it.
Is that something that you guys like?
So this guy, Nick Harrison, took some songs that we all love here on Q101 and turned them into yacht rock, and one is Metallica's Enter Sandman. So this is what it sounds like in his version of yacht rock.
Say your prayers, little one. Don't forget my son to include everyone.
And now Kenzie's dancing.
Tuck you in, warm within, keep you free from sin till the Sandman he comes.
Oh, I want a yacht, baby.
Sleep with one eye open, grip in your pillow tight. Exit light.
That's a hit.
And tonight,
That's a hit.
These actually are.
Woo!
take my hand.
You can really hear the lyrics like that.
He should be tried for treason.
Oh, this guy is so
I
good.
love it.
I gotta admit, I like it too.
Ooh, it's fun. I just want to wear bell bottoms. Dance around.
So, Case, this guy did all of these songs?
Yeah, he did 3 different alt classics, alt staples in the forms of yacht rock.
Well, let's have some fun then. I'm not gonna tell you what this one is and just see how soon you can get it, okay? Yacht rock versions of our songs.
Ain't found a way to kill me yet. Eyes burn, stinging sweat. Seems every path leads me to nowhere.
Got it yet?
I don't have it. Kenzie, do you have it?
Is it Alice in Chains?
It is. It's good call. It's Alice in Chains Rooster.
The saddest song known to man.
This song is so.
Vibes, baby.
I mean, that song really cuts.
Here they come to snuff the rooster. Yeah,
Well, I got it for a rooster. I feel good about myself. 'Cause that would have been a giveaway.
on a die. No, you know he ain't gonna die.
I mean, reference point, the Rooster was Jerry Cantrell, the guitar player's dad, who fought in Vietnam. And that's what the song's about.
Oh, far departure from the original.
Okay, let's do one more. If you can figure this one out, here we go. This is Nick Harrison, awesome musician guy, doing yacht rock versions of songs that we all love here on Q101. See if you can figure this one out. Nice lead in.
Oh my God, he did System of a Down?
Oh my God.
Here you go, creating another fable. You wanted to grab a brush and put a little makeup. You wanted
Hey.
to hide the scars and fade away the shake up. You wanted to watch and leave the keys upon the table. You wanted to. I don't think you chose
System of the Get Down.
in my
Oh my God.
self-righteous suicide. I cry when angels deserve to die. Wake up.
Oh my God.
Okay.
This guy's amazing.
I have never been so energized in my entire life.
So if you want to follow this dude, his name is Nick Harrison, who put this stuff together, and it is quite incredible. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. There's your yacht rock for the day.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.